Welcome back. Our legal counsel, Charlie O'Hara, here today. 436-1212 is the number to call to speak with him. Good to see you again, Charlie. Thanks for being there. I hope you had a good trip down to Florida despite the rain.
I did.
Tropical Lee did not do you any favors.
No, it didn't.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and get to the phones this morning. We know we have some callers who are ready to talk to Charlie. So go ahead, caller. What's your question for us? Go ahead, caller. What's your question?
I had a question. I just found out that I have a student loan from 1980 that I thought I had paid off but was not completely paid off. And now with the interest over the last 30 years, it's like $8,000. And I'm wondering, is there anything I can do to not pay all that?
Well, there may be, and there may not be. It kind of depends on the circumstances. There's a way to keep a judgment or a loan that you owe alive so that it can be collected if you get sued on it and things like that. And then there's sometimes that they're so old that they can't collect them, and it kind of depends on the specifics of that case. So I think what you would need to do in that circumstance is to actually check with an attorney and see whether or not you owe that money or not. They would go through all the procedures and see how it's trying to be collected. Sometimes a collection agency will act like you owe it when really it's too old to collect because they want to collect anything they can from you. So I would really check with someone in the law profession and make sure whether I really owe that money or not. And there may be a way to negotiate, since it's so old, to lower the amount that you owe if you make a lump sum payment or something like that.
And of course, you and I were talking during the break with computer age, although it's a great thing for a lot of folks. We're hearing a lot more about this, where the past bills are coming to, appearing.
Well, I think what's happening, a lot of institutions and the governments are taking things and scanning them and putting them in a computer, and some of the things that were set aside somewhere that they forgot are now coming up, and people are finding real old bills that are coming back to haunt them.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. All right, we'll get back to the phones with another caller today. Go ahead, caller. What's your question for us this morning?
Yes, our mother passed away, and my brother was her caretaker, and our mom had a credit card, and my brother signed for some of the charges on her credit card. Now that she's passed away and the card was in her name, can the credit card companies go after my brother?
That's probably a very interesting question. When you say he signed, if he signed her name or his name, if the credit card's in her name, I would think it would be something that she owed. I mean, you could buy something, you can buy a gift for somebody, you could have somebody go buy something for you with their credit card, they owe the money. So I think the short answer would be he probably does not. It may depend on some real circumstances. If he went out and abused it and bought a bunch of stuff for him, the credit card may say that he was above the authority. But if she gave him permission for everything and it was a credit card only in her name, I don't think he would owe it, she would owe it. And since she's passed away, it would probably go to her estate.
All right, thank you, Charlie. We do have another caller on the line for you today. Go ahead, caller. What's your question this morning? Go ahead, caller. What's your question for us?
In regards to an unsecured load ticket, it has not been turned in by the officer in over 40 days. Do they have a null and void time limit or anything?
Well, unless there's a specific charge, I would say they've got a long time. But it's actually in a misdemeanor case or something like that, the statute of limitations is 5 years. Normally, there could be. Normally, it would be turned in quicker than that. There may be a delay, a vacation. They're putting it on the computer or something like that. Usually, waiting a little longer, I would recommend, before you think you're out of the woods. And if there's a time limit, then when you go to court, that would be an issue that they didn't file it quick enough. So you'd have to check on the specifics, but right now I think I'd wait and see what happens.
Well, in this type of situation, should he contact the department or wait to be contacted? Because if he's got a court date, he doesn't want to miss that.
Well, if he's got a court date, he needs to be there.
Okay.
If there's no court date and he's just waiting to get a ticket, don't do anything.
Okay.
Someone may set it aside like we discussed before.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it. Okay, thank you for joining us again, and our viewers for giving us a call.